Namaste students. Today we are going to read the poem The Last Bargain. A bargain is an agreement in which both parties promise to do something for each other. The last bargain, the moral of the poem is that money, wealth, power or beauty cannot give you happiness. These all things are materialistic things. No one was able to hire the poet, either with power or with beauty, but the innocence of child and the simplicity are enough to hire him. So the man who is searching, who is calling to hire me, he was not affected by the materialistic things like money, wealth, power. He was in search of such thing that is very important for life, that is spirituality, and one thing that is purely innocence of that child. So let's start the poem now. Come and hire me, I cried while in the morning I was walking on the stone-paved road, sword in hand. The king came in his chariot. He held my hand and said, I will hire you with my power, but his power counted for naught, and he went away in his chariot. In the heat of the midday, the houses stood with shut doors. I wandered along the crooked lane. An old man came out with his bag of gold. He pondered and said, I will hire you with my money. He weighed his coins one by one, but I turned away. It was evening, the garden hedge was all aflower. The fair maid came out and said, I will hire you with a smile. Her smile paled and melted into tears, and she went back alone into the dark. The sun glistened on the sand, and sea waves broke waywardly. A child sat playing with shells. He raised his head and seemed to know me, and said, I hire you with nothing. From henceforward that bargain, struck in child's play, made me a free man. So this is the poem, The Last Bargain. Here we begin. Come and hire me, I cried, while in the morning I was walking on the stone-paved road. Stone-paved road means the stony path. Sword in hand, the king came in his chariot. He held my hand and said, I will hire you with my power. But his power counted for naught, and he went away in his chariot. Chariot, a four-wheel carriage, and not, N-A-U-G-S-T, not means considered worthless. Now what happened in the opening movement, whose setting is in the morning, the speaker appears to be searching for employment. As he cries, come and hire me, there came the king. Appears the offer to employ the seeker with his power. The speaker, however, finds that king power amounted to nothing valuable. That the power of the king is not much as valuable as the speaker wants. The king then retreats in his chariot. Assuredly, the speaker continue his search. But at this point, the reader begin to suspect that this speaker is not searching for earthly employment. As I told you, the material things like power, money, and the physical level of being. He was searching something else, and that is the very important thing of life. In the heat of the midday, the houses stood with shut doors. I wandered along the crooked lane. An old man came out with his bag of gold. He pondered and said, I will hire you with my money. He weighed his coins one by one, but I turned away. Now what happened? As he is again in search and shouting again, please hire me, come and hire me. Now what happened? In the heat of the midday, the houses stood with shut doors. The speaker continued his search, and now it is a midday. He notes that the doors to the houses are all shut. It is sunny midday. Suddenly an old man appears with a bag of gold coins and report to the seeker that he will hire him with his money. The old man weighed his coins one by one, demonstrating his attachment to those pieces of coins. But the speaker is likely disgusted by the spectacle and turns away. As in the first stanza, the king wants to hire this man through power. Then comes the old man who wants to hire him through money. So these two stanzas tells us that speaker was not impressed with king power and also not impressed with an old man's gold. The reader can now be sure that it is not worldly goods that the speaker is seeking. He can be seeking only the love of the spirit that I told you. He is seeking for love, which is not be found in worldly power and wealth. Such beautifully Rabindranath Tagore has explained in this poem through these stanzas. Now we will move to the further stanza. After midday, it was evening, the garden hedge was all aflower. The fair maid came out and said, I will hire you with a smile. Her smile paled and melted into tears, and she went back alone into the dark. Then in the evening, when, however, the man was searching someone to hire him, he continued his search on into the evening when he spies a garden hedge all aflower. Then he meets a fair maid, a beautiful maid who asserts that I will hire you with a smile. However, the seeker, this man, the speaker, eventually experiences the change that comes over the aged human as the smile. As the conditions come in life, students, as the age passes, this smile is paled and melted into tears, and the maiden went back alone into the dark. So, the speaker is in search of immortal thing. Money, power, and this smile, these all things are mortal. They are not for life long. They can change. Time can change these all things. So he was not impressed by this maid also. Now in the last paragraph, the sun glistened on the sand and the sea waves broke waywardly. A child sat playing with shells. He raised his head and seemed to know me and said, I hire you with nothing. From henceforward that bargain struck in child's play made me a free man. At last the sun glistened on the sand and the sea waves broke waywardly. Sun glisten means shining. The sun is shining on the sand and sea waves broke waywardly. A child was playing on the seacoast and he raised his hand and seemed to know me and said, I hire you with nothing, because child has nothing. Only innocence, happiness is there, an enjoyment of childhood. From thence forward, then bargain stuck in child's play made me a free man. Then this man realized, yes, this is the real thing. This is the real enjoyment. This is the reality of life. Finally, the speaker, walking alone the seashore, observing the crashing waves and encountering a child at play on the shore, is offered his last bargain. That child wants to hire him without anything. This last bargain turns out to be the best bargain, the one that frees the seeker from seeking satisfaction from earthly things. What are the earthly things? Earthly things are money, power, smile, wealth, everything, the beauty. What really seeker was searching for? The real happiness. That is, child is having that happiness. So students, the moral of the poem is that money, wealth, power or beauty cannot give you happiness for the lifelong, or it is not immortal. No one was able to hire the poet either with power or with beauty, but a child's innocence and simplicity are enough to hire for him. So this was the poem by Rabindranath Tagore, The Last Bargain. Thank you.